Hello everyone. Today we are going to start with fourth chapter of history, that is colonialism, tribal societies and industries. A tribe can be defined as people belonging to the same race inhabiting a specific region of the country using same language and practicing the same culture and religion. The scheduled tribes in India are generally considered to be Adivasis, literally meaning indigenous people or original inhabitants. Scheduled tribe is an administrative term used for the purpose of administering certain specific constitutional privileges, protection, and benefits for the specific sections of the society considered historically disadvantaged and backward. The branch of the science that deals with the study of tribal culture and lifestyle is called anthropology. As tribals have mostly led an isolated and nomadic life, it is very difficult to learn about them. Tribes have always existed in the Indian subcontinent. They have always had a different socio-economic, political, religious structure which continues to be an integral part of the traditional Indian social structure. A tribal group speaks a definite language, belongs to a distinct group, follows a typical religion, and performs different rituals. Tribals live in natural surroundings depending on their physical environment. They practice a variety of economic activities like hunting, fishing, food gathering, and farming, etc. Family is the basic social unit of the tribal communities. Women perform various domestic and economic functions. Sometimes they are also engaged in agricultural activities. British colonial rule had a tremendous impact on their isolated and peaceful life. The colonial state allowed the zamindars and moneylenders to plunder the tribal economy. Now, let's start with changes in the tribal society. They were deprived of their means of livelihood and were forced to adopt a new lifestyle. Many a times they protested to save their territories and environment. Tribal protest movement of the 18th century, which continued throughout the 19th century, were against British exploiters. Adivasis used to carry out shifting cultivation for their livelihood. It was carried out till the British rule. The British wanted the tribals to settle in one place so that it could be easy for them to control Adivasis. They even introduced land settlement for the regular supply of revenue. Some of the tribals were allocated land and were declared as landowners, while many others were declared as tenants. It was difficult to practice shifting cultivation in the mountainous regions because of the dry soil and water scarcity. Many shifting cultivators from northeast India even rebelled against the British, who ultimately had to agree to the demands and allowed them to practice shifting cultivation in some parts of the forest. Tribals were largely dependent on the forest. However, the British declared all forests as state property and classified certain forests as reserved. The tribals were not allowed to practice cultivation, hunt, or even gather fruits from these forests. This forced many of the tribals to move to other places in search of livelihood and created a scarcity of laborers for the British. But the British found a solution to this problem too. Many tribals were given small patches of land near the forest for cultivation and in return were asked to pay huge land revenue. The tribals eventually protested against these laws. It also affected the lives of the tribals greatly, as they were exploited by the moneylenders and the traders. By the 19th century, many traders and moneylenders started coming to the forest. The traders sold their products to the tribals at high prices and bought forest products from them at cheap rates. They also wanted the tribals to work for very low wages. The moneylenders offered loans at high rates, making life miserable for the tribals. The 19th century also saw many tea plantations and mines coming up in different parts of India. Since the forests were now under the British, many tribals were forced to leave their homes and work in these plantations and coal mines. The tribals were recruited by the contractors who made them work on miserably low wages. These rules also affected tribal chiefs. Before the colonial rule, the chiefs enjoyed administrative and economic powers. However, all these changed drastically. They now had to follow the rules laid down by the British, pay tributes to the British officers, and stop practicing their traditional functions. The tribals were exploited by the British, the traders, and the moneylenders. Tribal revolts. Many tribal groups rose in revolt due to above mentioned exploitative policies of the British. The important tribals who revolted in the period include Khol of Bengal, Bihar and Odisha, the Mundas of Jharkhand, the Konds of Odisha, the Kasis of northeast India, and the Santals of Bihar, Bengal and Jharkhand. Information about this revolt is available in tribal legends and folk songs as well as government records. Revolts in the Chota Nagpur region. The Chota Nagpur regions consist of densely forested hills and plateaus extending in the states of Jharkhand, Odisha and West Bengal. It forms the habitat of several tribes including Mundas, Konds, Santals and Khols. The Khols were the first to revolt against British because of the gradual expansion of the British authority in their area. These freedom-loving people guarded their forest for a long time and did not allow strangers to enter their territory. They resisted the attempts of the British officials to enter their territory. Many of their people were killed and villages were burnt. In 1827, they surrendered but only for temporarily. The Santal Rebellion. Santals owned large tracts of land and believed that their land were blessed by their ancestors. Thus, they were very much attracted to the land and forests for economic and religious reasons. Due to the new system of land revenue, Santals were completely deprived of their ownership of land. They were forced to pay land revenue to the British through the zamindars. As the British rule expanded, roads and railways were laid down to facilitate the penetration of the colonial rule. In 1853, work started on the construction of railway lines. As the Santals realized the disadvantages of the introduction of railways and its effect on their traditional lifestyle, the poor Santals were forced to borrow money from the moneylenders in order to pay their taxes. And if they were unable to pay the tax, their land was taken away. This was the main reason for the Santal rebellion. Finally, the British authority launched a military campaign against the Santals and crushed them in 1856. The leaders were arrested and the movement came to an end. The Munda Rebellion. Munda Rebellion was one of the prominent tribal protests in the subcontinent of India. Birsa Munda led this movement in the region of Ranchi. The Mundas traditionally enjoyed a preferential rent trade as the original clearer of the forest known as Kunkatidar system. It was in the 19th century this land system was eroded by merchants and moneylenders. During British rule, many non-tribals migrated to the traditional tribal area and grabbed the land owned by them. In due course, the tribals were forced to work as laborers under non-tribals. The rebellion was to drive away the British and establish Munda rule in this region. Birsa Munda was a strong young man who claimed to have divine powers. The locals considered him God's representative on earth. He strongly protested against the non-tribals who occupied their lands. He also disliked the zamindars and the moneylenders who ill-treated Mundas. He advised Munda farmers not to pay rent to the zamindars. The entire Munda community joined under the leadership of Birsa Munda, who started the revolt in Chota Nagpur region. They attacked British officials, missionaries and police stations. However, British captured Birsa Munda in 1900 and suppressed the rebellions. Tribal revolts in the northeastern region. The northeastern region of India consists of 7 states, also referred as 7 sisters, namely Assam, Meghalaya, Arunachal Pradesh, Manipur, Tripura, Mizoram and Nagaland. Tribal population is quite dominant in this region. Due to continued oppressions, many tribal communities stood in protest against the exploitation at the hands of British rulers. Manipur. The disunity amongst the princes of the Manipur royal family led to a war between his kingdom and the British. When the king of Manipur died, his eldest son succeeded him to the throne. Surchandra was overthrown by Tikendrajit, who occupied the throne with the help of the members of royal family. The British government declared war against Manipur in 1891. King Tikendrajit and his followers fought very bravely but were defeated in the war. Tikendrajit was captured and hanged by the British. Khasi Revolt. After occupying the Divani rights of Bengal, Bihar and Odisha, they wanted to build a road linking the Brahmaputra Valley and the Surma Valley. This road had to pass through Khasi Hills, dominated by Khasi tribes. The pleasant climate of Khasi Hills also made the British to think of building a sanitarium in this place. The Khasi stood in revolt against the British to construct the road passing through their area. The Khasi revolted under the leadership of Tirath Singh. They created much panic among the British officials. The British were forced to face many difficulties in dealing with them. Ultimately, Tirath Singh surrendered in January 1833. In Assam, the increased land revenue tax from 50% to 70% led to many revolts by the Adivasi people, which were finally suppressed by the Britisher. So here we end with the tribal revolts.